As a backpacker, one of the most frequently asked questions that I receive is, how do you save money to go backpacking? Some people think it's solely down to just how much money you earn, and I'm here to tell you today that that is simply not true. I saved for my first few backpacking trips literally just on minimum wage paying jobs. The key is in how you manage that money. On backpackingbananas.com, we have already helped hundreds of people manage their money whilst on their backpacking trips through our backpacking budget trackers. And now I am excited to announce the launch of the Life Budget Tracker, which is our new finance tool with the exact mission to help you effectively save and manage the money in your life so that you can reach your goals. So the screen recordings that you're going to be seeing throughout today's video are of the Life Budget Tracker, which is available to purchase now on backpackingbananas.com. And if you want, you can watch the product tutorials using the link in the description. So first, let's talk about saving. In order to start saving your hard-earned money effectively, you are going to want an actual savings target to work towards, a monetary figure and a deadline. For example, I want to have saved £3,000 for my Southeast Asia backpacking trip taking place in April 2022. This is going to allow us to know how much money we need to save each month. Then we want to be physically setting aside this money that you are saving, as in literally transfer it to a different account. Not only does this mean that you won't be tempted to touch it, but it will also help you very clearly and easily see how much money you do actually have available to spend on a monthly basis. But how do we ensure that we are actually able to save that amount of money each month? It's all well and good setting goals, but it's important that we can actually afford it and these goals are realistic. Will I have enough money left over for all of my other things? And this is where budgeting comes in. It's important that you set yourself monthly budget goals that align with your savings so that you know that it's possible. An effective way of doing this is by breaking down everything you spend money on. Think about how much you normally spend on all of these things and you can begin to plan how much you actually want to spend on these things per month. Set yourself a maximum limit. This is your budget breakdown. So once we've thought of everything that we might want to spend money on, we can see with the money we already have and with the income that we plan to earn if our goals are realistic. If what we have planned is going to put us in debt at any point in the year, well, we want to go back and amend our goals. So once we have developed a budget that we're happy with, it's realistic and it's not going to put us in any debt at any point in the year, we are ready to put these plans into action, which is very exciting. And this is our tracking stage. Without cutting corners, we are going to be inputting all the ingoings and outgoings of our bank statements, putting them in the correct categories. The idea here is that you are aware of everything you are spending so that you can then move on to the analysis stage. And you can start analysing after just 1 month. After you've gone through an input where all your money is going and how much is left over, you can analyse exactly where all your hard-earned money is going broken down. And if need be, you can choose where you can cut back. You will then be operating through conscious spending and making conscious choices, which really is our ultimate goal because this is what's going to put you in control. If you are struggling on how you can cut back your spending in order to save more, don't worry because that's what we're going to be going through next. There are some things that we need to spend money on in order to live. These are our spending essentials. However much it costs to have a roof over your head, clean water, food in your belly, and travel costs in order to get where you need to be in order to live and work. So obviously with your spending essentials, only buy it when you absolutely need it. And with a lot of these, there's probably not too much wiggle room with how much you spend. But if you do think that you're spending too much on your essentials already, you could do things like with your home, consider moving to cheaper accommodation by either downsizing or moving to a cheaper area. You can also compare the price of bill providers because you may not have the cheapest option. So check to see what the cheapest option actually is. You can go on websites like comparethemarket.com. And the same goes for insurance. Compare the prices of different insurance providers and make sure that you have the most relevant and cost efficient one for you. Again, you can go on comparethemarket.com. If you have a child or pet that depends on you, you can consider giving them up for adoption. That's a joke. I'm very, very sorry. You can walk or cycle to work as opposed to driving or taking public transport. Carpool lifts with other people if you are driving somewhere. Negotiate with your work if you can work from home at least a few days a week. If you have an office job, this should be a lot easier to negotiate, especially now after the pandemic and you've probably already been working from home for a very long period of time. Or you can actually ask your work if they will cover your travel expenses commuting to or from work. Sometimes this is impossible, sometimes it's already a given, but if you really are a valuable asset to the company you're working for, it's definitely something that you can at least try and negotiate with them. And as for food and groceries, use all of your leftovers if they are still edible. If it helps, you can buy some nice Tupperware to store it in an organized way, which will just make it a lot more appealing to eat. You should always do an inventory count of the food that you already have before you go out and do a food shop. You can then plan the meals that you can cook cook using the food that you already have. But lastly, when you do go out to shop, make the most of any deals or offers that they have, as long as it's a saving that you can actually make the most out of. Buy one, get one free, or buying in bulk if it's on a really good offer at the moment. As long as you can effectively store it so you do end up using everything and not having to throw anything away. Then we have your memberships and subscriptions. This is where you can be really caught out. Many people find that they are paying for subscriptions that they don't even know about or just simply do not use anymore. So of course, like with the essentials, make sure that you are only paying for the memberships and subscriptions that you feel that you really need and make good use out of. So have a proper look through your bank statements and make sure that you are aware of every single subscription transaction that is coming out and the service that you are getting from it. And then we can look at dealing with all of your other spending money. It's okay to spend money on non-essential items. We work hard for our money and we want to treat ourselves to nice things. But there are certainly smarter ways to spend your money to make sure that none of your transactions is unnecessary money spent. So firstly, you can consider changing your habits to minimize the little spend. So that £3 a day that you spend on a takeaway Starbucks coffee can be saved by making your coffee at home. And you can save up to almost £100 a month just by doing this. Spend time choosing the perfect clothes and make sure that you absolutely love it before you buy. Really ponder over that decision. If you're not that bothered about something, just don't buy it. Just don't buy it. So if you're choosing between one thing and another, choose a thing that's going to make you happier for a longer period of time. And again, make the most of any sales or deals. There are also plugins such as Honey, which you have on your computer, which essentially tell you when you're purchasing anything online if there's any discount codes available for you to use, so you are always getting the cheapest price. Now I have a few more other things for you to bear in mind when it comes to spending your money. I know how tempting it can be to pay for things in installments using something like Klarna. However, you should really try to pay for things upfront if you can. If you pay for a whole item upfront, it may feel like a real hit to your bank account. However, this in turn will make you naturally more frugal with your spending to try and make up for that loss. If you pay for something over a long period of time, like in installments, you won't feel such a big hit to your bank account, which will feel like you always have money in your bank account, which means that you are very much more likely to spend money on other things, meaning that you will save less. Also with installments, often you will get charged an interest, which means that the item does cost you more in the long run anyway. In addition, if anything happens which means that you don't have the money later on that you thought you would, meaning that you're unable to continue paying the installments, you're going to end yourself in a pretty sticky situation, and it will probably negatively affect your credit rating too. With some memberships or subscriptions, you may actually get benefits from paying upfront. They might say if you pay for the whole year upfront right now, you will get a cheaper price than if you were to pay for the subscription month by month. It's essentially a backwards way of saying that you will be charged interest for paying in installments. My own personal rule is if I can't pay for it upfront and I don't absolutely need it, I simply will not purchase it. And on a somewhat similar note, only get and use credit cards for the right reasons. Credit cards are not free money, and that's a common misconception amongst the people who end up getting themselves into a nasty debt. So good reasons for getting a credit card are they can improve your credit rating, there are often card perks, and you can delay your payments, which is super valuable for short-term investments. For example, if you are buying stock for your business, which you are very shortly afterwards going to be selling for a profit. Bad reasons for getting a credit card are if you want to use it to spend money that you don't have or that you will not have in the near future. So in conclusion, by putting in a few or all of these tips into action, if they apply to you, they're going to help you to really minimize your spending, which in turn is going to help you save more money and actually reach your savings goals, which is what this is all about. Saving money is a marathon, not a sprint, so we have to pace ourselves in order for it to be sustainable. But also remember that saving does require compromise. If you don't make any changes to how you currently spend your money, you're not going to find any changes in your results. So my goal and the goal of the Life Budget Tracker is to help you be aware of your spending and help you reach your savings goals no matter what your circumstance. Now we have two versions of the Life Budget Tracker, the original version and the UK self-assessment version. The UK self-assessment version has the additional feature of being able to give you an estimate of how much you should be putting aside each month for your taxes based on your earnings and the UK tax rates and bounds for the tax year 2021 21 and 22. So obviously this one is only appropriate for those from the UK who submit a tax self-assessment at the end of the year. So if you're self-employed or freelance like I am, our tax is not automatically taken out of our pay, and that's something that we have to actively do. We have to actively pay our taxes at the end of the year. And obviously this means that we can't just spend every penny of our earnings when it comes in, because we are going to be stung by the taxman at the end of the year. So with the Life Budget Tracker UK self-assessment version, we give you an estimate of how much money you should be putting aside each month so that you are fully ready for that payment at the end of the year, so that you know what you can't spend, and at the end of the year you already have that nice little pool of money ready to give to the taxman, and you won't feel like you've got a humongous loss because this is something that you've been paying in towards month by month. The original version of the Life Budget Tracker does still have a line for you to input your estimated taxes if you self-assess. However, it does not have the feature where we calculate that estimate for you. I've created video tutorials for both the original version and the UK self-assessment version of the Life Budget Tracker, which goes through in detail how to use both of the spreadsheets, and both Life Budget Trackers are available to purchase now on backpackingbananas.com. I really hope that you enjoyed this video and found it useful, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!